The kitchen felt unnaturally heavy that morning, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. Sarah stood by the counter, her fingertips circling the edge of her coffee mug while her eyes followed the curl of steam rising into the air. "I'm going to New York for a wedding. I'll be gone about a week," she said, her tone light, yet edged with something sharp, like velvet hiding steel. My spoon froze halfway to my mouth, milk dripping back into the cereal bowl. "Okay," I managed, but the word felt hollow, automatic, an empty shield against the sudden tightening in my chest. A wedding. She hadn't mentioned any friends tying the knot. No envelopes with fancy cursive had shown up in our mailbox. The silence that followed her words seemed alive, humming with something I couldn't yet name. The morning sun caught in her auburn hair, and for a heartbeat, she looked just like the woman I'd married 5 years ago, radiant, untouchable. But her smile flickered too quickly, her gaze darting toward her phone as it buzzed on the counter. "It's just a college friend," she added without being asked, fingers tapping her screen before turning it face down. I swallowed back the question burning in my throat. Instead, I forced a smile. "Sounds fun. When do you leave?" My voice stayed even, but inside my pulse hammered like a warning drum. "Tomorrow," she murmured before leaving the room, her perfume trailing behind like a ghost. That night, the bed felt too wide without her curled into me. She'd claimed a headache and gone to sleep early, but her phone glowed faintly on the nightstand, notifications stacking one after another. I had never touched her phone. Trust had always been our unspoken rule. But her words, a wedding, a week alone in New York, pressed on me like a weight I couldn't shake. Instead, I scrolled through her social media, searching for answers she hadn't given. Her posts were sparse, smiling dinners, weekend hikes, snapshots of us. But then I noticed a new name, Jameson NYC. His face stared back at me, sharp cheekbones, a confident grin. His profile was private, but his bio read, "Living for the moments that take your breath away." My stomach tightened into a knot. The next morning, Sarah packed with restless energy, tossing dresses into her suitcase like she was running from something. "You're taking a lot for one wedding," I said, leaning against the doorway, trying to sound casual. She let out a brittle laugh. "You know me, Matt. Gotta have options." Her eyes never met mine. Around her neck, a new silver chain caught the light. "That necklace, it's new," I said. Her hand lifted instinctively, fingers brushing the pendant. "Oh yeah, a gift. From a friend." The word friend landed like a stone in still water, sending ripples of unease through me. At the airport, she kissed me quickly, her lips cool against mine. "I'll call when I land," she promised, though her eyes were already scanning the crowd ahead. I stood and watched her disappear, the click of her suitcase wheels echoing long after she was gone. Back home, the house felt like a museum, photos on the fridge, her scarf draped over the couch, every trace of her presence sharpened by her absence. By the third day, her calls grew shorter, her voice more distant. "The wedding's tomorrow," she said late one night, static crackling on the line. "It's been overwhelming." But I heard laughter in the background, a man's low, warm voice. "Who was that?" I asked, my grip tightening on the phone. A pause. "Just some people from the wedding party," she answered too quickly. I wanted to believe her. But doubt had already taken root, wrapping its vines tighter around my chest. By the 5th day, I couldn't take it anymore. I logged into her email. Her password was still our anniversary date. There it was, confirmation for a Manhattan boutique hotel. Not the kind of place you book for a quick wedding trip. This was a place for candlelit bars, plush robes, stolen nights. Another email sat buried deeper, from A.J. Carter. "Can't wait to see us. It's been too long." My breath caught, jagged in my throat. Reservations for 2. A museum outing. A late-night jazz club. No mention of a wedding anywhere. When she finally came home, her suitcase looked heavier than when she left. She hugged me with a smile that felt rehearsed. "How was the wedding?" I asked, steady though my insides were unraveling. Her eyes flickered. "Beautiful," she said. But her voice cracked, and I saw it, raw, undeniable truth in the way she couldn't hold my gaze. I reached for her necklace, the pendant warm against my fingers. "Who gave you this?" My voice shook with the weight of what I already knew. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. The engraving on the pendant read, JNS. The room tilted. Betrayal sank its claws deep. There was no wedding, was there? I whispered. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't deny it. She sank onto the couch, face in her hands. Matt, I never meant for this to happen, she choked out. Jameson, he was from before. Before us. I thought if I saw him again, I could figure things out. Her words were a blade, carving through 5 years of love, trust, and promises. I stared at the woman I thought I knew, the woman who had built a life with me, and all I could see was the glint of that necklace, proof of the lies she carried. I turned and walked out. The door clicked shut behind me, leaving her sobbing in the wreckage of what we once were. The night air bit at my skin, but it couldn't dull the ache hollowing out my chest. Somewhere in New York, a man named Jameson was waiting for her call.